Just sitting in my car, relishing the fact that I got new leather seat covers put in to cover up the black decor that I didn't really care for. However, the whole thing was kind of an ordeal, and I'm one of those people that use my own experiences as examples, mostly of what not to do. But I don't think a lot of people really share inner dialogue. And I can understand why, because mine is vicious. The reason it is, however, is because I'm still doing inner healing work on all my childhood crap. So basically, you can look at an adult today and expect them to behave as one, but really if they've got trapped little children inside, then it's gonna come out of them sideways, you know, like a vomitous mess. Now, I try very hard to hone that in, and usually I find it very exhausting. So if I'm at the grocery store and somebody's like, how are you? I'm like, I'm miserable. And yourself? Would you prefer that I lie? But with this situation, I kind of went low, you know, that codependent Christian move, where it's like, if I surely put love out there, then love is gonna be given in return. That is not true, my friends. The reality is you can pour into other people, you can be loving, respectful, kind, whatever. It doesn't mean that anybody else is able or ready to receive it. And in fact, they could disdain it and give you some crap right back. So I went to this dude and I said, I need these covers. His father was like, absolutely not. We haven't done that. We won't do that. And it's going to cost you big. And I'm like, well, what's your hourly rate? Okay, so if you give me 3 hours, just see what happens in 3 hours and give me a ring. And they're like, we're not going to do that to you. We won't do you wrong. And I'm like, okay, well, 3 hours is what I can pay for. And he's like, well, just let me know, is there a ballpark area you want to be in? And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go above this, of course, because that would be, raking me over the coals. And he's like, okay. So he's taking down my number and information, and he's like, how's the dating scene? I'm like, it's not. And I'm like, you wouldn't be interested in me anyway? Big Jesus freak, and it's kind of off the Richter scale, so wouldn't work. And I just always say that because stay back. So he calls me and he's like, oh, the job's done. And I'm like, oh, okay, well that's faster than normal because I know the hourly rate. And he's like, yeah, so it's gonna be your top price. And I'm like, is that right? Huh, okay. And then I start spinning and I'm like, this is my problem. This is where I go wrong, because my no does not mean no and my yes does not mean yes. Therefore, I get resentful when I expect people to treat me in the same way that I put out there. But the reason I really go low and try to pretend that I'm much nicer than I am is because I want to form an alliance. I want to expect this person to not do me wrong if I do them right. And the reality is, most people are inept and they can't do it. And I do have some issues because in my brain, I think that the average person is not the best. And I'm not really looking to bump fuzzies with anybody that's out there, because I think some people really have to prove that they're trustworthy or worth my time. This guy proved true, and I really wanted him to come in strong for the male species because I really didn't want to have to keep all those tallies in my brain. But I'm still a work in progress. So I show up on the scene and I'm like, yeah, I think 3 hours was, where we could have stopped that ticket, but you're charging me at the toppest tier of what I said that I was willing to pay. Do you not think that that is taking advantage? And he was like, I can give you, less than that. I'm like, well, then I'll pay for 4 hours. How about that? Because it's still giving you quite the deal, don't you think? And it irritated me that I had to walk away and think that I still got taken advantage of. And then I had a 4-hour prayer session and I realized the issues still rely with the way that I expect other people to just do the right thing. And in this day and age where we live, every little thing, even a mindless job like this, which was not hard for the dude, it somehow becomes taxing for everybody involved because we're gonna have to pay for the things that we want. We may even have to pay for friends because the people out here today are still struggling in their worth. They're still reacting out of their childhood pain. And it's very hard for me to put forth that kindness and energy and understand that we're all a work in progress. I'm gonna leave you with this. My seats look great. I'm glad I took the plunge. It only took me $800 and 4 months after I received the suckers to get them put on here. But in reality, I knew what I wanted. And it didn't matter if somebody else thought they knew more about me than I knew about me and wanted to project their ideals or discourage me, because when I feel a challenge, I'm going to basically say, no, I'm willing to take that risk and indulge. I also have to be willing to sit with that risk, and if it blows up in my face or if it backfires, I don't always have to just say never again and cut that person off and flip them the bird when I'm walking away. I get to actually say, okay, you know what? I own my part in this. I was maybe a little manipulative. I actually was faking it till I make it. And the bottom line is, that doesn't work at all. I'm gonna go back to authentic Angie and just be that good old person that says, you know what? I'm not having the best day. I might actually take it out on you. Therefore, I apologize in advance. But for the deal that we need to work out here, let's just cut to the chase and keep it professional. What I really love about these is they got that black piping, so it goes wonderful with the rest of the car. That's black. I mean, I'm now riding in a beautiful experience, and I can chalk it up that the whole thing was a huge lesson. That's all I have to say on that subject.